Damas y caballeros, yo soy Toshi, soy japonés. Estoy muy feliz de estar aquí en Guadalajara. Es maravilloso ver a nuestros colegas aquí y también a aquellos conectados en línea. Muchas gracias por asistir, por ser anfitriones de esta reunión. Este es el final de mi charla en español. Gracias. Let me restart in English. Ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to see all of you here in Guadalajara, finally, and also those who are participating online. Thank you so much for attending and hosting this meeting. I'm Toshi Otsubo, the current chair of the ILRS Governing Board. Due to the unexpected worldwide pandemic, we could not hold our workshops in 2020 and 2021. Online meetings were the only option to see each other, and we actually invented and arranged ILRS virtual world tours in the last 2 years. Our standing committees also gathered online, thanks to the chairpersons and participants. Those events have been very successful, but it is fantastic to restart the international workshop on laser ranging here in Guadalajara. People here in this room should also keep in mind that there are quite a large number of our colleagues cannot travel due to various reasons far beyond their control. I would like to give a big thank you to all of the SLR, LLR stations in the world. During the pandemic period, especially at the beginning, almost all the station colleagues had to work hard to keep their operation running by difficult negotiation and paperwork and a lot of restrictions. We successfully minimized the drop of the productivity thanks to you, so please convey our appreciation to your colleagues and to your institute. This week, we will see a lot of exciting achievements. A good example is the new International Terrestrial Reference Frame, ITRF, where ILRS plays a very important role, and you will hear about it very soon. Throughout this week, let's look forward to talking to each other and learning a lot from oral and poster presentations. I would like to emphasize that it was June this year when our Spanish colleagues offered the possibility of hosting this workshop, and it has been a quite remarkable speed to build up every component of this workshop. So muchas gracias, Bea, Jose, and all the Yebes IGN colleagues. This is the first ever hybrid type workshop for ILRS. Let me repeat what I said three years ago in Stuttgart. Please speak slowly and clearly. Think about non-native English speakers attending remotely from different time zones. And I would like to ask the online participants to join the conversation without hesitation. Also, this workshop is the first face-to-face opportunity to introduce the new key person of ILRS, the Central Bureau Secretary, Claudia Carvajal. Claudia? I have enjoyed working with her for more than 1 year, and Claudia is very quickly adapting herself to ILRS. Actually, I learned Spanish language from her, as you heard a few minutes ago. If my Spanish remarks were understandable, Claudia was also a good Spanish teacher as well. Yesterday, we had a governing board meeting. The election of the next governing board chair is going on. We will probably be able to announce the new chair, hopefully by Friday. Actually, my second and last term ends soon by the end of this December. So the next chair will be the sixth governing board chair, and will be in that position from January 2023. And we will work for the smooth transition. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the ILRS colleagues, and I'm sure that ILRS can do more and can do better in the future. And I want to see this committee more exciting, even more exciting. Don't worry, I will be still an active member of ILRS, and of course, I love ILRS. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. And the next speaker is the director of the Central Bureau, Mike Perlman. Mike should be online now. Okay.
Yes, can you hear me? This is the International Laser Rate Service. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Mike.
Oh, okay. All right.
Please go ahead. Thank you.
This, first of all, I want to thank everyone who worked to bring this event to fruition. As Taji mentioned, it's a critical event for the ILRS, and I know it's an important event for all the organizations and people that worked on it in Spain. So I want to thank you all very much. This paper here has by myself, by Claudia and Ericos, but there were many other contributions that went into it, charts provided by other folks. Okay. First of all, this is a map of the current network. There are new operating stations in Tenerife and an engineering station in Stuttgart, which I'll mention in a while. The Russians are testing their new Tushka SLR system in co-location at Mendeleevo and Irkutsk. New stations are scheduled for operation in 2023 in Yebes, again in Spain, La Plata, Argentina, Metsahovi, Finland, Mount Abu and Panmunde in India, and Tsukuba in Japan. NASA, a NASA affiliated organization in the Allison, will be working to meet deployment of new stations in Norway in 2025, in McDonald, Texas in 2026, an updated SLR system in Goddard Space Flight Center in 2027, and Mount Haleakala in 2028. The Russians are planning at stations in Mexico and Indonesia and in the Canary Islands. Unfortunately, we don't have a recent update on that because of the current communications issue. And we've just learned now that there'll be a new SLR system in Matera, Italy in 2025. There's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of energy. The map depicts where the stations are. The black ones are the existing stations, the yellow ones are the new stations that are in process or in planning. This shows you the production of the network over the past year, as of the end of June. We have a standard of production which we call sort of stations in good standing, and that's at 3,500 passes per year. And this is also broken down into the high satellites, the LEGEOS and ILRS satellites, and the LEO satellites. You'll note those on the left-hand side are really what we call good production systems, and some very, very good. Those on the right, there are producing data to support stations, to support altimetry and other LEO missions. And there are a number here that hopefully will be coming along. Our goal is that every station should meet the 3,500 passes. Notice, recognize, of course, that the LEGEOS and LEO satellites are the ones that help us make the reference frame. So they are critical to our principal product. Here's a little chart that was provided on the new station in Tenerife. The things to notice here are that this station operates at both 532 and 1024. Very important new asset to these operating stations. The station has already produced a fair amount of data, and we're looking forward to continued high production. These folks plan to be doing debris planning in 2023, and also to be doing optical communications soon. So this will be a multifunctional station, and with supporting lots of different projects, all of keen interest. This is the new station in Yebes. Some of you have obviously seen this already, and you'll see it this week. This too operates at 532 and also 1064. Very important, of course, to be able to take advantage of some of the new strengths at the 1064, the higher energy, new detectors, and also note the 7 picosecond pulse width. This station is scheduled to become operational in 2023. This is the station in Stuttgart, Germany, a new engineering station. This is an engineering activity to develop low-cost, high-mobility SLR systems that be used for space geodesy, but also for other applications. Highly automated, remote, and the big thing here is low budget. The SLR systems are fairly expensive, and hopefully you'll get to the point where there'll be low-cost versions of this so that more people, more organizations can participate in the important projects that the SLR supports. We've also had a number of mission campaigns during the year. I want to point out this one in particular. This is a campaign that was carried out between the ILRS and the Indian Space Research Organization. It's a campaign on the Indian ILRS synchronous satellites, of which there are 7. This seeks to use the network to provide a uniform ground coverage over the ILRS satellite orbit from the ILRS network, plus 2 new Indian stations in Panmundi and Mount Abu. So the idea is to run 10-day sessions that would be organized 2 satellites at a time and have these networks tracked. And you can see on the left below what some of the orbits look like. These synchronous satellites. And on the right, you can see the pattern of normal points that are hoped will be achieved during the campaign. The first test of the ILRS network was conducted in April, and it gave significant data from Yagadi, Gras, and a few others, and some data from several others. And we're going to have to work on that to improve the data yield. Further campaigns, however, await evidence that progress is being made in the new SLR systems in India. These will, of course, play a very vital role in the campaign. This is the new ILRS satellite. We have a number of what we call a cannonball, a spherical, passive satellites, LAGEOS, ILRS, etc. This one is new. It uses smaller cubes than we've used in the others, and also with some unique close packing of the retroreflectors. And the benefit of this is that as the satellite revolves, the aspect to the ground, the other satellites like LAGEOS show variations in return signal strength because of the separation of the cubes. In this case, a high packing strategy is being used to reduce the variation of this return signal strength and give a much smoother return signals over the pass. We point here some measurements taken over the first couple of months, I think the first 9 weeks, and these are estimated weekly biases by station. And it's based on the use of a nominal center of gravity correction. This has been done by Erikos Pavlis and others, showing that the mean bias is in the range of some several millimeters, in one case almost 2 centimeters, which still needs to be investigated. But the point here is that this is with preliminary numbers. In other words, the center of gravity correction is itself an estimate yet. So there's still engineering analysis that needs to be done to strengthen the models that are being used with this satellite. Worked on a number of interesting satellites in addition to those that are used for the geodesy. In this case, the Tubin satellite has on it a microbolometer, which is able to detect and note forest fires and some of the other events on the ground. Through the bolometer readings, so we can actually locate these things. Of particular interest here to the ILRS is this is also testing some new ideas for retroreflectors, new sizes, new ideas in how to make the arrays more efficient. The LCD is a test of a system to chase targets, collect them, and bring them back to Earth. So the chaser here is chasing the target. The complication is the target is spinning and rotating. So it's a pretty complicated task. And these folks are looking at the dynamics of trying to capture a tumbling target in orbit. Also, having been mentioned before, the Russians are developing some zero signature target satellites. These are targets that do not need a center of mass correction or have a very small center of mass correction that can easily be that can be calculated. I don't have an update on this, but it's anticipated that these satellites, which are similar to ones that were launched earlier or a similar application, would be available for launch soon. Okay. A lot of progress has been made with the analysis activities. First of all, we already mentioned that the final version of the ITRF 2020 was released in April, and this has been a very significant improvement over the previous reference frames. In particular, I want to mention that the ILRS product has been improved significantly through modeling of the biases, some of the effects that had previously been unaccommodated in our analyses. So a lot of work has gone into this. A lot of work is not only by the analysts, but also by the engineers going back and working through the records, through the files, and finding out lots of issues and things that had not been accommodated in the modeling have now been included. This work continues, and so we're hoping for a continued improvement in the laser data production, in the laser data quality. Looking forward, the newer products will be including both LRS and LRS-2, the new satellite that was launched in July, making already a very significant improvement in the product that we're seeing. The new products will also include estimation of low degree, low order gravity field terms that will be included in the future products, and also adding loading corrections at the observational level to a special internal operational product starting in 2023. So lots of things are coming in the improvement of the products, and we're all very excited at what we see coming. And just to sum up, I wanted to point out some of what we call our issues and challenges. With all the new stations, there are still many geographic gaps, primarily in Latin America, Africa, and Oceania. We must find ways to try and fill some of these gaps because the global distribution is really critical for us to produce our very best products. Next, the current network is a mix of new and old technologies, the levels of financial support, weather, etc. And this, of course, means that production will be different from one station to another. And it also means that different stations have slightly different designs, different hardware, making it sometimes difficult to, let's put it this way, there are different issues with different systems. And so we've got to work a little smarter and hope that the systems sort of update to the newest technology. So as a result, though, there's also a lack of standardization among systems. Once again, making it sometimes difficult to root out some of the systematic effects. The data quality issues have mentioned significant progress made in detecting and reducing systematics. I also might point out the number of target satellites continues to increase as new missions use SLR for orbit determination and other applications. We're currently tracking 120 satellites and soon to be added another 20 from the BeiDou network. Now, this doesn't mean that all 120 and to be 140 will all be prioritized. Many of these will be left up to the discretion of the stations when and if they happen to have time. If there happens to be a gap, they are asked to try and track a number of these satellites, in particular the GNSS satellites. So that's it. We see a very exciting year coming, and as soon as these new stations are deployed and operating and the models are improved, we would expect continued dramatic increase in the quality of the data produced by the laser service. And I want to thank everybody for his participation. You all helped to make this a success. Thank you.